Welcome to see the second part of the bitmap loading tutorial. Let's get straight to the point. So now that we have the width and the height of the picture, we need to move the file cursor to the position where the pixel data begins. And for this we use function fseek, and we seek our file bmp, and the position where the data begins is stored in the bitmap header at the beginning of the file, and we have read that header to our header array, and the position where the bitmap data begins is stored in header 10. So here we write header 10, and we seek from the beginning of the file, so seek set. Now we need two for loops for going through all the data and drawing the pixels, and for those loops we need two more integers, j and k. And now the first loop will run as many times as the height of the picture is, so for j equals height minus 1, j is greater or equal to 0, j minus minus. And why we need to have this minus 1 is because otherwise the code will try to read read more than there is in the file, more data than there is in the bitmap file, so we need to put the minus 1. And here we need this because if we leave it out, the last line of the picture won't get drawn, the last horizontal line, which is the upper line, because the picture is upside down in the file. That's why we need to do j equals height and not j equals 0, j is smaller than height and stuff. So yeah, it's upside down. And then for the next for loop, which will run as many times as the width of the picture is times how much the height of the picture is. So this is not backward, so we just write for k equals 0, k is smaller than width k plus plus. And now here is where we need to get the color values, and they are stored in backwards order, so first blue, then green, and then red. I don't really know what have the guys been thinking when they created this file type. Some things are backwards and some things are not, and the picture is upside down. It's quite confusing when you start with these bitmap files, but it's still quite easy and fast to learn if you just try enough. And I hope this tutorial will help you learn. So now we need to get the color values. So first we need to get the value of the blue, so b equals file get character bmp. And now we do just the same for g and r. See bmp, and these values will be set again as many times as there is pixels, so that's why they don't need to be arrays. They can be only simple variables which just change as these for loops run. Now we need to set the pen that the canvas uses to draw the pixel, and for this we use function setPen, and we need to input the values of the colors, and for red the value is simply R, for green it's G, and for blue it's B. The transparency will be 0 and the size 1. You know that these variables here, they contain numbers, so usually you use setPen function just like this. Some numbers here like 0, 255, 0, 0, 1. Now that would give you the brightest possible green color, because green is set to full and R and so red and blue are set to 0. That's just about setPen. Okay, and then we need to actually draw the pixel, and we draw it with potPixel function, and this function just draws a single pixel to the position on the canvas, to the position of the coordinates we give to the function. For x position we give k, and for y position we give j. And now comes a little trick that I learned from Game Agogo. It's that bitmap files width and height have to be divisible by 4 for writing the files, and if they are not, some black pixels will be added to the file for drawing the no, I mean for writing the files. And when we draw a picture from a file, we don't want these black pixels to appear, so we need to skip those parts from the data. And for this there is this little trick with fseek. File is bmp still, and now the trick is that we get the remainder of the width divided by 4, and by this way we get the amount of pixels there will be, those black pixels, and then we seek so the current position of the file cursor. This will just move the cursor ahead so that it skips the parts of the data that we want to that we don't want to use when drawing the picture. And now this function is ready except for one little thing, and that thing is that we need to close the file we have opened here. For this we use fclose and bmp. Now this is something you have to remember to do always when you work with bitmaps or any other files, because if you leave it, if you don't do it, it may cause you problems. Game editor will crash, or well, it can cause quite a few different problems. So remember this always, and I want you to remember it, so remember, or the bad ghost will come and eat you. Okay, and now that the code is written, we just have to give it a name. So let's name it load bitmap and then click add and close. And now if we go to game mode, oh yeah, one thing. Now that you have written the code, it is very good to save now, because if you don't save and something goes wrong and game editor crashes or something, you will lose the code and you will have to write it again. So save in this. Save now. Okay, now if we go to game mode, the picture won't appear because we have just written the function that reads the file and draws it, but we haven't called the function. So we go here, but nothing appears on the screen. So for drawing it, actually, we have to go to canvas and events, create actor, action script editor. Now here let's call our function. So view bmp, and now here we input the file name, which is in this case level 1.bmp. Remember the semicolon. Then just click add and immediate action. Close. Now when we go to the game mode, it will take a second or few seconds to load the picture, and because game editor needs to go through the file and draw it pixel by pixel. So that was just so you know why there is little time when the screen is black at first. But okay, let's go to game mode and see how our code does its job. And here we have the file, the picture drawn just as it would be drawn on any other program. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and found it useful and helpful. And if you have any questions, comment this video or comment on Game Editor forum, or send me a personal message on the forum. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and come to see the new videos when I get them done.